Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Dollenbach. I'm a graduate student at the University of Texas at San Antonio in the College of Architecture. Today I'll be presenting my master's thesis project titled Megastructures of Athletics. After extensive research, I found that stadiums need to be more inclusive of the community they serve, and they need to be multifunctional, rather than being used for just one specific event. The site I chose is the Alamo Dome in San Antonio in order to draw a professional football team to the seventh largest city in the U.S. After researching megastructures, I found that this modular, repetitive, and massive building type could provide the framework to house a multifunctional professional football stadium. This project focuses on the concepts of intermobility, structural modularity, and field of vision in order to challenge the theory of connecting the San Antonio east side to downtown through the stadium. I began by identifying connections, boundaries, destinations, and views from my site analysis. I realized that the main points of connection to the site is Hemisphere Park to the west, St. Paul's Square and Sunset Station to the north, and the east side community that has been cut off by massive parking lots to the east. Major boundaries on this site are the highway to the west and the train tracks running between the stadium and parking lots. This creates for interesting movement throughout the site by ramps that you take underneath the train tracks. The major destinations around my site help me to identify which buildings help define San Antonio's skyline and the angles they are visible from. The major buildings identified from my site into downtown include the Tower of the Americas, the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, major hotels, and the Freedom Life Building. I then began by identifying hardscape versus landscape and how the site can evolve to incorporate a park rather than the existing parking lots. I use key angles of views towards buildings to create pathways in my park. The section through the site diagrams the different points of connection, movement through my site, and the destinations they lead to. For the program of the stadium, I began by identifying the kinds of spaces needed for a stadium, a park, team facilities, public facilities, and maintenance spaces, then analyze the amount of space required for each program. I diagrammed the size of each space, how they pertain to one another, and the importance of each function according to program. From here, I derived my concepts. After background research, I founded three concepts that would help guide my design for the rest of the project: intermobility, structural modularity, and field of vision. Intermobility, the connection of mobility around, through, under, and above my site through different modes of transportation such as car, bus, train, and pedestrian routes. This has been achieved through the creation of a bus station, train station, a parking garage, and land bridges that connect the park on the east side through my structure to Hemisphere Park in downtown. Structural modularity. The megastructure is a building that houses many different functions, is modular through the repetition of structure, and provides the framework for building to grow and expand through the continuation of this repetitive structure. The structure in this project responds to the angle of seating within a stadium, which ultimately dictated the form of my building. Field of vision. Views of the San Antonio skyline play a key role in connecting the east side and downtown. My building responds to this through the use of windows and removal of seating to frame views highlighting key buildings. The fan's experience was also considered when defining seating by the angle of views to the field of play. The main idea of my site plan is to provide the east side neighborhood a public park through the elimination of the existing parking lots. I accommodated this by creating a leveled parking garage on the south of my megastructure. The new park is divided into open fields and entertainment space to the north and recreation spaces to the south. The north side of the park provides ponds, an informal plaza, and an outdoor amphitheater. The recreational activities to the south include tennis courts, basketball courts, sand volleyball courts, soccer fields, and a baseball field. I also focus heavily on the connection of the new park to Hemisphere Park downtown. I accomplished this task through the creation of land bridges and pedestrian bridges that lead to and pass through the stadium. Another major focus for the site is to promote the use of public transportation. I accomplished this feat by creating a bus station on the west side of the first floor and a train station to the east, with pedestrian routes running through the middle. Evident in the floor plan is the use of repetitive structural columns on the east and west of the structure that dictate the form of the stadium and reinforce the idea of growth and expansion of the megastructure for future development. This plan recognizes three main entrances to the structure through the north, east, and south. The plaza on the north was created by voids intended to frame views of major buildings on the San Antonio downtown skyline. The removal of seating on the northwest and southeast of the building, along with the use of transparent glass on the facade, provide for optimal views of downtown San Antonio skyline when in the stadium. Another major design task that is evident in the floor plan is a consideration for views of the field of play through seating and tunnels and stairways leading to seating. This axonometric section drawing clearly identifies the land bridge that was created to connect the new East Side Park, the stadium, and Hemisphere Park downtown. Also evident in this image is the ramp leading from the East Side neighborhood to the stadium. Pedestrians will travel through the park and underneath its train tracks, which will lead them to the transit center underneath the stadium. The structural columns and trusses that support the stadium are identified to emphasize how repetitive structural modularity was used to dictate the form of the megastructure. The use of glazing on the facade describes the transparency through the structure, providing views to the San Antonio skyline, which is evident in the background. This axonometric section recognizes intermobility by clearly identifying the train station, bus station, and the pedestrian path on the ground floor. This section is also successful in analyzing the views of the field of play provided by the seating. This enlarged section emphasizes the structural columns that were created to support the structure. The angle of the interior bracing was created according to the slope of the seating that must be used to accommodate to ideal views of the field of play. This drawing is also successful at emphasizing the train running through the megastructure and the pedestrian bridge that connects the building to the park above the train station. This longitudinal section shows a land bridge entering the stadium from the south end of the site and leading to the public seating area on the second floor. Structural modularity is evident with the columns in the background and the truss system that supports the roof structure. Intermobility is also evident through the train station on the ground floor, the parking garage to the south, and the escalators taking pedestrians from the ground floor to the stadium. Now we'll show renderings to emphasize entrances, the park, pedestrian land bridges, and interior views from a human scale. Here is the north entrance, showing the plaza and all the structural columns, the use of glass. Here's the east entrance from the east side at the park. The south entrance, showing a land bridge that goes between the middle of two parking garages. Another view from the park, emphasizing the courts, then the recreation area, and also showing the land bridge that connects you to the stadium. The amphitheater that is in the park on the north side of the park. The pedestrian ramp that goes down underneath the park going to the stadium, as well as the playground next to it. The park and the pond with the view of the main facade of the building, the north entrance, the plaza, and the San Antonio skyline in the background. This is a pedestrian land bridge coming from Hemisphere to the stadium over the highway. This is pedestrian land bridge from the East Side Park up into the south end entrance. This is the North Plaza entrance, again emphasizing the San Antonio skyline in the background and showing the transparency of the glass facade. This is showing the access road and the bus station. So you'd be driving on this access road, and up further ahead is the entrance to the train station, which has a drop-off area. This is showing a pedestrian bridge that crosses over the train tracks. And then further ahead would be the train station with a platform for you to enter the train. And lastly, the field of play, showing how I emphasize seating and to view the field. Also the daylighting that would be accommodated in this space, and the truss supporting the structure. In conclusion, I believe that through the concepts of intermobility, structural modularity, and field of vision, I've created a megastructure that provides a more inclusive and multifunctional stadium. Thank you for listening. Take care.